Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Soraya. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's going on?
Oh, not too much, except for the second time this summer, my AC went out. So I'm burning up here in Temecula in triple digits.
That stinks.
Yeah, it does. It does. But my AC guy's supposed to be here in the morning. But for now, I'm going to be melting.
Well, lots of ice water and ice cream and thoughts of cold places. I don't know. Does that work?
Yeah, that works. That works. Hey, Soraya, do you remember when we did the episode on Rainy Day?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool because we had people from different projects getting together to collaborate and do something new and different from the projects that they were already working on.
Right.
So today we're going to do something like that again because we're going to have Matt Piucci from Rain Parade and Tim Lee from a number of other bands. But at the time, the Windbreakers, they got together, as you know, and did a project called Gone Fishin' and did an album called Can't Get Lost When You're Going Nowhere. We talked to Matt a little bit about that when we had him on the first time, but we're going to have both of those guys on here in a bit and learn some more about that project. It's an album that I really like a lot.
And apparently it's one of these albums that fans and collectors, they have a hard time getting their hands on. So I'm really excited that we're going to have them on and just talk about it a little more. We've heard bits and pieces here and there, different stories from different people. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's hop into it.
Okay.
Let's go fish.
Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing. Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
A podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy.
Is this thing on?
It is. Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
We were trying to guess who Sunny Boy was. So it was...
Oh, that's my dog.
Oh. All right.
That's a good name.
So we're still waiting for Matt to join in.
Oh, well, he's going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
It took me a while. I barely figured it out. I thought I was going to have to call my wife.
You did it, though. We're so happy to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited. This is an album that I've loved for a long, long time. So I'm anxious to get into it and find some more about it. We talked to Matt a little bit about it when we had him on, but we didn't get that deep into it because we knew that one day we would hope to get both of the key players involved.
Right.
Well, it's not. Yeah, I think it's not a problem to get the two of us anywhere if you can make it happen.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We have a feeling between the two of you, there are lots of stories and anecdotes and just there's a lot of musical talk. So we're ready for it.
Cool. Well, I pulled out my copy of the album so I could remember the credits.
I got my copy right here too.
Ah, sweet.
My copy's got some chicken scratch on it, but
yeah, nice. I don't recognize any of that.
I'm curious how many copies of Gone Fishin' there are signed by you and Matt.
Gosh, I'd say maybe 2, if that many.
Really?
I can't imagine there are that many of them. I doubt I've signed more than a few in my entire life. But so yeah, that's super rare. That could be worth, dozens of cents.
Twice as much as it was worth otherwise, right?
That's right, which was singles of cents.
But I will tell you this, as Jeff and I were researching, it's an album that fans look for and want, and it's hard to find. And yeah.
That's awfully nice. It's nice. I mean, and it, I guess we can say this, but it really was a really fun record to make. And, because it's just these two dudes that see each other every 6 months or something at the time, got together for the better part of a month and, somebody let them make a record.
See, I like that. I like that. They let them make a record, just whatever they want.
All right, here we got.
Well, there's some pretty funny stuff about that. We'll say.
All right.
All right, and here's Matt coming in.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Matt. How are you? Soraya and Tim are on.
I can't see Timmy.
He's not showing himself.
All right, wait. I'm not sure how this works because I see one person at a time, and I know there's probably a better way to do it, but
probably at the top.
Wait. No.
At the top right, you can adjust where it says gallery view. You could probably change that to some other form. Oh, I still can't see you.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, for me, it's just showing like some weird blob, and for Matt, it's showing some weird blob.
Well, that's probably correct.
Yeah. I may have to call it. Oh, I see Matt now.
Matt's front row at some concert.
I forgot I did that. I totally forgot I did that the last time I did Zoom. So that's actually very apropos, as they say. Cheers.
Just
water.
Yeah.
Salud.
All right. Well, Soraya, here we are, episode number 88, and we're talking about.
Oh, we should skip that, man. That's a bad number, isn't it?
No.
Wait,
it's not
for the Chinese. It's a lucky number 8.
Oh, that's
not
okay.
It's not number 45.
It's not. So. It's not Heil Hitler. So
yeah, stop it.
All right. But the album came out in 1986. Is 86 a good number?
Sure.
It's a good year for me. So the album.
Yeah, you get 86. Yeah.
I got married.
So on Restless Records, the two of you guys got together and made this album, Gone Fishin', an album that I really like a lot. We wanted to go through the album track by track, but we had some questions about how this even happened in the first place. But my first question was, I know you guys did Glory, where Rain Parade joined the Windbreakers, and you guys recorded that, and that came out on the Windbreakers album. Did that happen before or after Gone Fishin'?
Before.
Or was that?
Oh, before.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a question about that because we learned from Eddie that there was an incident where Eddie did a backflip into a lake, and there may have been some creatures.
Now it's a backflip. Ask him next year. It'll be like you did a triple
gator. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Tim, you probably know more about this lake than anybody. Do you remember this event happening, and is there anything you could tell us about from your point of view?
Well, yeah, the way Matt and I met originally was my wife Susan and I were booking bands at this little dive bar in Jackson, and we brought in the Rain Parade, and they stayed with us for a couple of days, and then they ended up coming back to town, and because this kid whose dad owned this bar out on this dock, it was called the Dock, that was on the Ross Barnett Reservoir, named after the famous racist governor, they played the Rain Parade played a set, and then Bobby and I played a set with them, and then Eddie just turned around and went into the drink. And then the Ross Barnett Reservoir is known for like gigantic catfish, like 200-pound catfish and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I do remember the jumping off the dock for sure. I don't remember a backflip.
Yeah, I don't think there was a backflip involved.
But that's okay. We don't mind it. Phil agree.
Are there gators in that reservoir? I wouldn't imagine there would be gators in there.
Yeah, they're on the rivers. They're like tributaries off of there. Yeah, there people live on those, and there's stories of gators going on people's yards all the time.
Wow.
Jackson, Mississippi is a pretty swampy area. It's pretty close to. It's pretty far south.
Okay, yeah. So for our listeners who don't know, so we've had Matt on before, so our listeners are familiar with Matt. Tim, are you originally from Mississippi?
Yeah. I grew up in various parts of Mississippi.
But since then, you've relocated out of the state, correct?
Yeah, I live in Knoxville, Tennessee now, but I've lived several places in between.
Excellent. So, Gone Fishin', how did the idea to make this album come about? Whose idea was this?
It's a good question. I honestly don't remember this part. I'm sure we just talked on the phone several times, and I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
Well, I know how it happened. I was just waiting for you to say. And by the way, I just noticed that this picture behind me includes.
I'm right there in the middle.
There he is.
Yes.
I swear to God, I didn't do this on purpose, unless.
Wow.
As I recall, one of my first dates, if you will, with my future and present wife, we were driving down to Mexico, and Tim had sent me some songs, and of course they were fabulous. And I asked him if he would pity me and allow me to play on them, and he said yes. So
I like that.
I don't know. It was inspired by Miles Davis, and Bill Hine had always been nice. We talked them into letting us do this, so then we did it. So we got a bunch of money to do it, more than we deserved, and it happened. It was a blast.
So,
I went down there, and they put me on their couch for like a month. It was.
That was the better part of a month for sure.
Yeah, they were very, very nice.
It was a blast.
That's what happened. I don't know if that's like how it started, but that's what I thought. There's that one song, that song "Something Happened," which is amazing. Wait, the last one with the sax on it. There's two songs.
Oh, something better.
There's two somethings in a row. That song, and the sax was already on it when I heard it, and I was like, "Holy shit, that is amazing!" So then I got to play on it because Tim felt sorry for me, and I got money for us to mess around, and he was nice about it.
So how did Restless get involved with it?
They were the ones who gave us the money.
How did they learn about that this was happening?
Oh, I asked.
Yeah, this was all Matt. That was
because they heard the Glory stuff, and stuff started to bubble under, and that this is. Was it after Terminal? Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we'd already done. Have we done Crashing Dream yet? No, I don't think so. That was like February of '85. Is that about right?
February of '86, according. Oh, no, wait, maybe
Correct.
It was '85. I'm looking at that title, the album cover here. It's '86 according to the album cover.
So we already had done stuff, and I guess we were already on island. So I don't know, who knows why they did it, but they did, and it was great. They never made their money back. The poor people. So. And we even asked them for more when I was down there. I remember that conversation.
Yeah, the best part was when you kept calling them from the studio, promising that we had spent all the money and that the studio was holding the tapes hostage until they sent more money.
I read Miles Davis, kind of inspired to keep plugging.
That's great. I love that.
So okay.
So my question. So it sounds like, Matt, that you heard a few pieces. Did you guys have songs that you brought to the table, or did you develop them once you got together and you're in Mississippi?
Yes.
So a little bit of both, right?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of both. Yeah, because there were some things that were just kind of pieces that one or the other would have, and we would just, and half the time we would just start recording before we had like a complete song or anything, and so it was. But I had a couple, Matt had a couple, and then, like I say, some of them just kind of got made up on the spot.
Yeah, I was terrified by that approach, to be honest with you, but Tim insisted it would be okay, so I believed him.
Yeah, Matt's definitely more meticulous than I am, but I think you definitely managed to get over that while you were here or there.
And you have like 40 times as much stuff as I do, so there you go. Yeah, that was, well, you can probably tell which ones are recorded and which, I guess we're going to get into it, so there you go.
Yeah.
But it would certainly wouldn't happen if Susan hadn't agreed to put up with us. See, the thing you got to know about Tim and Susan, and this is the way stuff worked then everywhere, and Tim and Susan were like shining examples thereof, but the sort of nexus between college radio and little clubs and cheap gas and independent record labels, people could go places, and if you have to drive through Mississippi, why not stop and play? Because there's this guy there, or some people there, a couple there, who does this thing, and so that's how we met them. We would never met them unless they were making it happen there. And Pat Thomas did that in Rochester, and that's enough examples, but of course, tons of others. Everybody. That's why Tim knows everybody.
So it sounds like that's a good way to develop a community and develop a friendship with people throughout the country.
Well, yeah, but also Jacksonville was really kind of nowhere, and like we wanted to go see, like I'd seen the Rain Parade play before, but it was in Atlanta, and so for us to go see shows, we had to go to some other city. And so a friend of ours had discovered this tiny little dive bar called WC Don's, which stood for We Couldn't Decide on a Name. And it went through a couple of owners really quick, but then this old dude, I mean, like really old guy, took it over. And we just went to him and said, hey, if we book these bands and charge $3 at the door and you sell beer, is that cool? And he was like, yeah. So that we would, borrow a PA system from a friend and put on these shows, and 60, 70 people would come out and the bands would get paid something. And it was cool because, we did want that kind of community in our neighborhood, and it just, probably would have been another 5 years before it happened otherwise.
I mean, it's a state capital, but I must admit, when first driving through or into, and I forgot what day it was, and okay, this is the only one I can think that's smaller is Jefferson City, Missouri, that I've been to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this little town. Very cute.
Like Jackson didn't have college radio or anything like that, so there wasn't a reference point other than, we had the cool record store where the cool people worked that could tell you about this stuff. But other than that, I had to learn about stuff by, subscribing to fanzines and stuff, and, reading New York Rocker or something like that to find out what was going on elsewhere.
Right.
I think that's what makes it even more impressive, is that, there wasn't necessarily something feeding into it other than interest from others. I think that's what's cooler about that story.
Oh, thanks. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the production. So on the album, it's listed as produced by ELP Productions. I love that. So it's a play off of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I would imagine, but it's the U2 plus Randy Everett. I don't know too much about Randy. Can you tell us about Randy?
Yeah, Randy is he was the engineer at the Terminal Studio there in Jackson. He eventually went on to own it, and I think has sold it in the last couple of years. But he's an interesting character. He's like this amazing jazz guitarist who got into recording and was a longtime friend. And so he was, it was perfect. We were able to work out like, super cheap recording rates and basically camp out in that studio for a month. And but Randy Simpson, he's done some things, like some gospel things that have won Grammys and stuff.
Wow.
He's also a great visual artist. So he's just like an all-around cat,
He's kind of got a Jim Hill sort of vibe personally too. In order to be able to like captain the ship when, the seas are stormy and the torpedoes are coming at you, just and Tim don't know what the hell we're doing, and I don't know. I'm sure Tim was nicer than I was. Well, that's because that's generally true. So, but he was very, very chill, and although I don't remember a whole lot of pressure, it's pretty fun top to bottom. So,
it totally was.
That was kind of the idea that we embraced as a theme, as far as I know.
Yeah, and it's funny looking at. I just pulled out the album so I would have the credits in front of me if I needed them, and the photos on the back are hilarious. I haven't looked at those in forever, but like they're mostly pictures of you and me and Randy.
Right. Well,
and
I can just say that I had met my wife, but we weren't really a thing yet. So I mean, if that was a little later, she would have never let me get away with the album cover, which is hideous. But hey, Endless Summer is a terrible cover, but it's good. There's good stuff in it.
Oh, it really is.
We're right up there with those guys, Timmy.
So it sounds like you enjoyed working with Randy as well, Matt.
Sure, it was great. I mean, the whole thing. I'm going to say it was the first day, just because I'm gonna. So we're driving to the studio, and Tim was like, let's get some beer. Okay. And very casual Tim way. And he drives into like we used to call milk places. Right? It was like a drive-through gas station, but you drive up and it's like an open gas service station almost, except there's beer there. I'm like, okay. And he goes, hand me those cups. I'm like, what? And he gives them to the guy, and the guy fills them, and he gives them back to us, and we drive off. So there you go.
Open containers of alcohol.
Yeah, there was no open container law in Mississippi at that time.
It was totally cool. I'm like, we can do this.
It was totally legal to drink and drive. Yeah, as long as your blood level content was below 0.12 or something, you could drink and drive all you wanted.
Wow.
Really? Wait, the government can tell you not to drink and drive? That's fashion.
No, because there was no open container law. It's great. It's like it made perfect sense. It's very civilized.
All right, that story might help to explain some of these songs coming up then.
Sorry.
Oops.
So thank you.
I think we just told him everything you needed to know.
So one last question before we get into the actual songs. Tim, maybe you could help us out with this. In the lower right-hand corner of the credits, there's a dedication for this album. Can you tell us about the dedication?
That's actually Matt's thing.
Oh, okay.
The Matthew Thomas Cation. It was a friend of yours kid, right?
Yeah, Tommy just actually, wow, sorry. This is a little deep.
Yeah.
This is, I don't want this to be about other things, but Tommy Cashin was a road dog for everybody, originally with Green on Red, and some of the barbecue mythology of the early scene occurred at his place or his mom's place. And other bands like the Romans and like Keith Mitchell, other bands like that were there too. So Tommy Cashin is a fundamental figure there, a sort of patron / roadie, and he was on the road with Green on Red. And he taught them about the blues and stuff because they didn't know it. And he loved blues and country and that kind of stuff. And long story short, he had a kid and we were pals. We named the kid Matthew, and he was born very ill and he didn't last very long. And that was his name. And Tommy just died a couple, 3 years ago himself. And that's probably the last time, I think that's the last time I saw David Roback. Was that?
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So anyway, so that's pretty cheerful. Way to go, Jeff.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing a little bit about that.
No,
well, let's get into the songs, though. Speaking about not being cheerful, let's talk about No Rapture. So I will go through side 1. Soraya will go through side 2. And these songs were, for the most part, you guys wrote singularly. And so, Matt, I'll ask you, since this is your song, it starts off, side 1 starts off with No Rapture. Real slow, mellow intro. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Matt.
Thank you.
And
I think.
Some of the lyrics are that you repeat are, "This is the day the Lord's gonna come, gather the children, tell everyone." And then the chorus is, "But you lie."
This is the day the Lord's gonna come, gather the children, tell everyone. This is a day we come from inside. Rain is on. We are the bride. But you lie, lie.
Can you tell us a little bit about what this song is about?
A rejection of my cultural Catholicism, probably, but that was one of the ones we kind of made up on the spot. So I guess I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I like the guitar part. Who knows? Maybe my father's bugging me to go to church or something. I have no idea. As he oft would, God rest his soul. This is gonna be fun because I don't really. Some of these songs I haven't really thought about in a while. So anyway.
So was this one of the songs that you wrote there in Mississippi then?
Oh yes, it most certainly was.
How then can I ask you, did it end up as the leadoff track?
Over to you, Tim.
Yeah, I have no idea. The sequencing. I know, like my good friend Greg Ellis, when he heard it, he immediately called me and like had this whole other sequence that we should have done. That was really hilarious because it was the exact opposite. You know, it started with the fastest song or something, and it just, you know, because I was like, I think it's kind of cool. It kind of eases into it. It's a thing. And Greg's like, oh no, you got it all wrong.
Okay, now it's coming back to me. I haven't listened to this in a long time, but Timmy plays some really filthy guitar on that, if I'm not mistaken, and it's kind of got some crunch to it, so maybe that's why.
Okay. So I have some specific questions about the second song. So Tim, this is your song, All You Want. The specific songs that or questions that I have before we get into the song, more generally speaking, is there a mandolin in this song? Do you guys happen to remember? There's no credits for mandolin, but
oh Jesus, you guys, you're gonna have to play me.
Yeah, no.
Two bars.
I think it's got like a capoed guitar or something. I seem to recall that there is kind of a higher sounding thing in there, but it's not mandolin because I don't remember there being.
How does that thing go?
I don't remember there being a mandolin in the studio.
Here, I'll play a few seconds of it.
I'm really sorry, but I
let me see if you can hear it.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Oh, I think it's the 12 string would be the high string because I had that Hagstrom 12 string we used. I think that might have been it, but we probably used your 12 string acoustic too. So there's definitely some higher.
Yeah, and we might have capoed up either one of them and got kind of jangly. I seem to remember a chingy thing. I'd have to listen to it again.
But it was probably some kind of 12 combination of 12 string guitars or something.
So what about
as
that?
Young people will want to do at the time?
Yeah. What about that slide part? Who's playing that?
I think that might be me because I made it up originally, but it could have been. It was actually probably Max. He's a much better slide player than I.
I thought I played that, but I think you taught me something. And you know what? It may have been both of us because it sounds double tracked if I'm not mistaken. Or one of us.
I mean, specifics are we're going to be short on here, I'm afraid. But yeah, but Matt's definitely the better slide player, so we'll call it him.
Is that a 12-string slide? Did you play slide on 12-string there? I mean, I'm sorry, I should have listened.
That could be what it was. Is that because, like I said, I had that weird Hagstrom 12-string that I loved using for stuff. So it's entirely possible that was what that was.
It was so free and open, and unlike I usually do when you ask me about something, I have already thought about it for 8 billion years, and so I can tell you, but I don't remember hardly thinking about anything doing this.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
So there are a lot of cool instruments there.
Yeah.
Timmy had that wasn't a Hagstrom. You had the regular Fender 12, didn't you, with the little Dr. Seuss on it?
Bobby Sutliff's that we borrowed for some of the. Yeah, we had that one around and my Hagstrom, if I remember correctly.
See, that's the miracle of Jackson, is that just Tim and Bobby both happen to be there. So I guess the two best songwriters in Jackson got together. That was a good thing.
I'm not going to disagree with that. All right, so Tim, about the song. So in the chorus, you sing, "All you want is another way, all you need is another day." Can you tell us a little bit about the lyrical content about the song?
It's really weird. I mean, it was to me a lot of that stuff from that era, this and the Windbreakers and whatnot. It sounds like a young guy trying to figure out how to write songs, and who had a little bit of aptitude for it. And it's that one. I mean, I remember, because that's probably one that Matt heard ahead of time because I'd made like a home demo of it. and with one of those fabulous 4-track cassette machines that were all the rage at the time. And but I don't remember that one necessarily being about anything, but it was about 3 minutes long. I know that takes that's so that's so full of mystique, but it's really kind of the truth.
Got it.
Now I'm thinking that through in my head, and I got it back, and we kind of made it thick, if I'm not mistaken. That's a bunch of stuff, if I'm not.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Did you have a Mellotron-y thing? There's a string patch.
Oh yeah, that's in there too. You're right.
That, not really a Mellotron. It's like a analog synthesizer.
It's almost kind of like an ARP string machine sound or something.
Or is it Jupiter? I don't remember what it was. Something like that.
All right.
Anyway, now I remember. Thanks.
So Matt, you have to remember this next one because this is the hit single from the album, Home. So let me.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do remember that one because that was. I mean, Rain Parade did that too.
So
yeah, because I remember playing it with Rain Parade. Yeah.
Rain Parade used to do that song.
I noted a little bit of the lyrical content. You sing, I don't know where I'm going, don't know where I've been, this life I lead, it ain't worth living, crying on the wrong end of the telephone, 100,000 miles and I'm still not home. I've been chewed up, I've been spit out, nobody knows what they're talking about. I don't care what they say, don't care what they do. I wait 100 years, but I will see you home. Do you remember what?
Yep.
Do you remember what influenced the song, or did you just sit down? And...
Well, sure. We were okay. Now the chronologies, I guess, has to be this way because that's got to be after Crashing Dream. And we were in England, and I had met this person to whom I'm now married, and that was the first time I'd been away from her, and it was quite obvious that we were going to get dicked around by Island, and that was just, how I felt at that time.
Got it.
So, not that wonderful things didn't happen, and that we didn't get a chance or anything like that. But okay. Now I remember we were at the Mean Fiddler, and I called. You guys know Stephanie. I called Stephanie, and she was crying on the phone, and it was very emotional. Then I go out, and he looked like Pete Townsend, and he was like from North England, and I'm like, he's like, "What's the matter with you?" I was like, "My girlfriend." Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to tell the record company that you're going to kill yourself if they don't fly her over here. And I'm like, "We are?" He goes, "Yes, we are." And he did, and they did.
Wow. So Stephanie.
That's a great story.
There you go. That's that song.
Wow.
He did. Although God, Willie was so pissed about that because he was actually married. But I thought it was
I love all this manipulation of the record labels going on behind.
Well, that wasn't even my idea, but thanks, Andy. Andy Proudfoot of Newcastle.
So another thing I wanted to note about Home is there's some great trading off on the leads, and I'm pretty sure if I know your guys' style pretty well, I think it starts off with Matt doing his lead, and then it goes into a Tim lead, and then to a Matt lead, and then I think later in the song you guys do the opposite where Tim starts the leads. I'll play a little bit of it and see if I'm right.
Okay.
Matt? Yeah.
Correct.
And then Tim?
Yeah, that's me. I know that Telecaster anyway.
Timmy first introduced me to the.
And I think it goes back to Matt right here. That's got to be Matt.
Yeah.
That's gotta be that.
Oh, yeah.
Those leads are crazy. I love that.
Well, I like that last one better. It's see, if it was Rain Parade, I probably would have fixed some of that other stuff.
Yeah, I've spent the next 30 years trying to imitate that, so it's there.
So
never got it.
One last thing before we move on to the next song. So with the song is noted as having backing vocals by Bobby Sutliff. So Tim, that was your partner in Windbreakers, and then also Chris Wilkinson. So I didn't know anything about Chris. So when I looked him up, I see that is it she? She was a singer,
yes.
The singer for Perfect Strangers.
Yeah, they were a Jackson band for a while. She lives in England now and has a project called My Girl the River, I think.
Okay.
And, yeah, so she's kind of doing her own thing, singer-songwriter deal.
Okay, right on. So whose idea was it to bring those two in to sing backing vocals for Home?
Well, Tim, you want to tell them who we asked first?
I forgot about this. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not telling you. You got to do it.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell.
Well, we asked Alex Chilton to do it.
Oh wow!
and he wouldn't.
He wouldn't do it.
We offered him money and weed and stuff, and he still wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it. He's like, well, maybe if you fly me back for the weekend, and and we're like, dude, it's one no. It's like,
wow.
But anyway, he was like. He's like, Rain Parade. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Like, Rain Parade.
I would imagine that he was living in Memphis at the time.
He's probably living in New Orleans, but he played in Jackson, and we just kind of went down at the sound check to see if we could talk him into it, I think.
Oh, my God.
But we did go to New Orleans, too, didn't we, Tim? Didn't we do it twice?
Oh, yeah, we totally went to Mardi Gras. You and me and Randy in a rented Lincoln.
That's correct. Yes, rented, paid for by.
I think that was the day we hit him up for more money.
It was, my friend, and if it wasn't, it is.
Yeah, because we drove the rented Lincoln to New Orleans, and we pulled into a parking garage, and the radiator hose burst the second we stopped. Do you remember that?
I forgot about that.
And so we limped it back to the airport at 3 a.m. with me behind the wheel, completely ripped, and I got pulled over. And the cop just told me to be careful.
Your good old boy thing, man. White privilege.
Yeah, I know.
Dude.
Cop just told me to be careful. Yeah,
that was fun.
But we went and saw Will Rigby's band White Me Mommy that night.
Oh my God, they were awesome.
I think I played with them.
Will was this tiny guy, but the drummer, right? From the DVDs, isn't that him?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and then this other guy who looked like the singer from Candy.
Gilbert Nestor was
Gilbert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, gigantic dude with the overalls and stuff, and he's the guitar player, and Will's and he's like, Will is the size of his leg.
Yeah.
And he was the singer. They were amazing, man.
Yeah, Gilbert was one of those legendary characters that he was a roadie for the DBs and a bunch of different people, and but he was a great guitar player. He could wax philosophical about Jimmy Page for days.
And come on, that's an unbeatable name.
Yep.
Come on. White
I know,
beating.
that's the best, isn't it? So anyway, New Orleans trip aside.
Anyway, we're not talking about anything that they are asking us, Tim. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's fine.
No, run with it. Go. We're here for all of it.
Yeah, we love the stories behind it. So Charlie Jones, Matt, we already talked a little bit about it when we had you on. Our understanding was that you heard Dan playing, I think, yeah,
That riff.
and maybe the first line or something, and then you took it from there. And
yeah, I can remember it.
But the song is credited for as Tim being a co-writer too. Tim, do you remember adding anything?
I wrote the very last line.
He's the one who said put it up to his ear, and I'm like, that's amazing. We have to do that. So there you go.
So
it was kind of like that. What's that song, Lost Between the Moon in New York City? You know, these 46 people wrote it. You know.
But yeah, but good. Yeah, you brought that song in, and we recorded it, and you started writing, and then we were just kind of talking about how to finish it or something, and I just said, "Why don't we do this?" And so we did. And so I got my credit.
Well, I was feeling all Southern and stuff, and figured I would at least try to write a song that I thought was a country song, although it doesn't really come out that way, but sort of.
Soraya and I did read a review where it said something about the review for the album said, at spots, Gone Fishin' is reminiscent of REM, of course, what didn't get compared to REM at the time, specifically Charlie Jones.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be cool to hear those guys do that.
It would be.
I don't hear it myself, but I remember at the time around 86 that you would see REM mentioned in pretty much every review that came out from a band that did a recording from the South.
Right.
Whether
because some kid had never heard the Birds, so he figured if there was the 12 string in it, it sounded
exactly.
like REM.
All right.
Okay.
So side one ends with Tim's song, Take a Left. And in the song, Tim, you sing, we could close some doors that should have never been open. I love that phrase.
We can close some doors that never should have been open. We can walk away and leave everything unspoken. Take a left at the light, I don't feel like talking. We can wait till the night, go out walking.
Is this a relationship song?
Well, it was about a friend. I mean, I was already married and all that. But it was about a friend of mine, and it's totally that incredibly earnest young people thing, and it's so weird to be 100 years old and think about like that song that I wrote when I was probably 24, 25, and but I mean
who is that guy?
It's a cool chord progression. I mean, it was. And it was like, I like that song a lot, but it just, it is painfully earnest in a way that I'm just not anymore. I'm just old and cynical and cranky.
But that's a beautiful song. And, I'm not sure I knew about that one, but I mean, yeah, pretty much all the good songs are Tim's. I recognize that. That's cool. I can deal with it. That was.
But you wrote the hit
single. I had my. Okay, I sort of had that one already, though. Anyway.
All right, so now it's time to take the record off the turntable, flip it over, and drop the needle. Soraya.
Yeah. So before we go through the songs on side B, I wanted to just read a really quick quote. So when Jeff and I researched, we start reading different things. And one of the things that caught my eye was something that I found on YouTube. And it was a guy had posted an audio clip of Home. And this is what he says. Tim Lee and Matt Piucci, former guitar players from the Windbreakers and the Rain Parade. This song belongs to the LP Can't Get Lost When You're Going Nowhere, 1986. Mid-80s, when the Paisley Underground tried to save rock and roll in the entire world, actually. And I love that quote because I said, well, what else is this album doing? It's completely throwing that model, and just, you gave us a lot on this album. I think that's why Jeff and I like it so much. There's a whole lot of stuff here.
Oh, thanks.
New for us, at least. If I put it in that time context, a lot of it is just new and different. And I like the story behind it, where we just said, hey, we're going to make an album. Okay, here's your money. Oh, and by the way, we'll keep throwing money. Just give it a store.
Oh, I think it was only twice.
Yeah,
still.
I mean, yeah, a lot of money is relative, but you know, and
it was like 10 or 12 grand then. That was pretty good,
but
which isn't that much.
Yeah.
But I mean, for that,
it was huge back. I mean, yeah, it was way more than I ever got to make any other records. But I mean, we kind of, you know, are kind of offhanded about it and all that, because it really was just a really fun thing that we just dove into. We didn't put a lot of emphasis on the art of it or anything. You know, we put ourselves into it, I guess, is the way to put it. And so if it seems like we're a little dismissive of it, it's really just because it to me, it's because it's so much fun to talk about, because we had so much fun doing it, that it's hard to be too serious about it, because there was just, you know, for me, that record was just gaboodles of fun. And I don't think I've ever used the word gaboodles in a sentence in my life. So there.
Well, you know, it's like Timmy welcomes Matt to his world, and I went down there and had an absolute blast.
Yeah,
yeah, I figured out that people could be married and do rock and roll. So,
well, when you look at,
I ended up doing it,
and that's why I think Jeff and I like it so much, is because we can tell the fun behind it. I don't know if that's the right word, but. So it starts off with Touch the Gold. And Tim, this is a song written by you, and the line, you want to live to touch the gold. Stories are told of people who touch the gold, just like you.
Biding time, you want to live to see the end of the road. You want to live to touch the gold. You say you do your best to understand. You're gonna try to be a better man, but you'll grab for everything you can. You wanna live to touch the gold. Stories are told of people who touch the gold. Stories are told of people who touch the gold, just like you.
And we were curious about the story behind this song. And also, yeah,
you know, I mean, that's one that did kind of exist beforehand, I think. And I think it really just kind of started with that riff. Mm-hmm. And and I think it just kind of, the riff sort of informed the vibe, which informed the words, and it all, because it was, you know, it's kind of a lean, deserty sounding thing, and that just kind of seemed the right way to go lyrically.
The time is weird.
Yeah, it really.
So it's the hell is it? Kind of like 12/8, but it doesn't feel that way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It adds up to 4, but it does weird stuff that messes you up. right?
Yeah.
It's got that bit. Anyway.
Yeah, it's funny. I picked up when I pulled out
Music talk.
when
Sorry.
I pulled out the album and looked at it. I thought about that song, and I picked up a guitar to see if I could remember that riff, and I actually could. I just couldn't remember anything.
Oh, you did?
But I couldn't remember
good.
anywhere it went after that. So it's, again, I mean, I hate to make it sound like it's all so just thrown off, but it really was, kind of informed by the vibe more than some kind of overarching concept.
And the decision to bring in Robin Sutcliffe for harmonica?
In most of these cases, like with Bobby, and Robin is Bobby's brother and one of my best friends, and I think it was probably just a matter of these people were just kind of, they would drop.
He probably showed up.
So what?
And that was it.
Yeah.
He probably showed up.
Yeah, he was just hanging out.
I got a hard. Great.
The door was always open at the studio, so people were, constantly coming, just hanging out and drinking our beer. And if you were hanging around and we thought you might be useful, then we put you to use,
We did ask him to come, but I think Bobby, we knew he was going to do.
Yeah, because Bobby would, we invited him to come hang out, and I think that just kind of happened from there. But I saw Robin right before the pandemic. He's still one of my best friends, and I talk to Bobby all the time, but Robin's a great dude.
Robin had a record around then that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and he never put it out.
I know. I heard
he
it.
sent you a copy.
I don't know where the hell it is. I don't know if I had it, but I liked it.
It's really good. Yeah. Robin's a great songwriter.
Well, anyway, that's Bobby's brother. Sorry. Anyway.
And track 2 is Lift It Up. So this is credited as a co-write. And it's got a couple of really great lines in it. So one is, I'm going to be lifted up, but it's this sequence. I'm going to leave you behind now. I forget your name.
I forget your name. I forget your name.
We were wondering, is this a breakup song or is this about reflecting back on a friendship or relationship?
Boy, this is a real wing it. I had some really stupid lyrics for it that I knew weren't any good. And then Tim said, Matt, those aren't any good. And I'm like, okay. So then we wrote them. And then it kind of, I think once we got to the messed up organ, then it got like gospel-y because we ran that electric Yamaha piece of crap through a distortion pedal. That was another thing. Tim's like, well, Tim, you already got 2 effects on it. He goes, yeah. And he'd step on the next one. Like, wait. So with vibrato, chorus, echo, bass,
sure,
whatever. Not on that one, but yeah. So we got that crazy sound, and then it got a little more gospel-y and shouty. And
well, wasn't that like the first one we started tracking? Because it seems like you came in and you had like the basic idea for it, and we just started recording it, like without even thinking about it. We just did it.
Oh, you know what? And the drums were later. We didn't even use drums, did we?
That's right. I think we just kind of started tracking something, and that's how we got started, is the way I remember it.
It was an angry guitar thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's right. It was that great guitar thing.
So that's 2 songs in B on that album, isn't it? I was into B then. That's like in the No Easy Way Down days. It's really B. B's a good key.
And bringing in Andy Piucci.
Andy's my brother, and he was there because he lives in Atlanta, still does, outside Atlanta. And I didn't want to have to like reach all the way down to the bass to play the thing I did, because I just wanted to do it. I'm like, Andy, come here, do this. And he said, okay. And then he did it. There it is. And then he ended up doing hand claps with us. And I don't know how far it is from Jackson to Atlanta.
But that, the thing, the way I remember that was that you flew into Atlanta, and Andy drove you to Tuscaloosa, where the Windbreakers and the DBs were playing together. Like that.
The History of My Life by Tim Lee.
Yeah. So the Windbreakers and the DBs were playing at the Chucker in Tuscaloosa, and you showed up and you played half our set with us, and I played half the DB set with them, but it was fun. But then you and Andy drove on over to Jackson, and he stayed for that day or something, and that's what. So that
must have been the first thing we did. Okay.
Yeah, it had to be because he was there for it. Yeah.
And he was come to Tuscaloosa. He did.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him.
Because you guys showed up at the club, is the way I remember it, and so.
Isn't that picture from that club?
Yeah, the picture of you and me in the middle, the color picture on the back of the album.
Shirt. Yeah.
That's us at the Chucker. That was a fun night.
Okay, cool. Are you sure? Wasn't that White Miwami, or was that was
the DBs? Yeah.
I knew I'd met Peter. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, he was still. Wait, there aren't DB. They never did it apart, did they? Ever, the two of them?
Well, that was the latter day DBs minus.
That was the No Chris DBs.
The right? No Chris DBs, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
all right.
Jeff Benato was playing bass and Gene Holder played guitar. Because I sold Gene the guitar I was playing that night. So
why do I know him? I know that guy. Sorry,
No.
I'm just sitting here talking to Timmy.
No, I was like, almost full circle. I sold him the guitar that night. Next song is Too Many Eyes. And Jeff and I agree that this is the most Rain Parade-y type of song on it. And the lyrics.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's kind of like there's another Rain Parade song that's kind of like that. The hell's the name of it? We never recorded it for record. It's on the live thing. It's another Eyes Closed. There you go.
Yeah.
That's kind of the twin. No, I can't tell them apart. Hang on a second. I got to get back to the head here.
Let me play a couple seconds of it.
Please, because now I'm hearing Eyes Closed. It's messing me up. Sorry.
That's very Rain Parade-esque.
Does it ring a bell, Matt?
Hi, sorry. Yeah, sure. I remember that. Okay. I guess if it has eyes in it, it's got to be Rain Parade. Cat eyes closed.
Eyes closed.
Kill too many. Eyes. That does sound really Rain Parade. And I mean, Timmy's a great singer, so it didn't matter. If I'm not mistaken, that was one of those. See, because I mean, I was there from. Is that a later song, Tim?
I think it might have been one of the later ones, but I think it was mostly done. You had it pretty much done when we started it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. I might have finished it while you were sleeping or something. But anyway, okay. So I don't remember a damn thing about writing that song. I'm sorry. I like it though.
Well, this is one of the lines that really caught us. You say we got power, you say we got might. I always thought we stood for what's right.
That sounds so Matt Piucci to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's bad now, it's bad then. And it bugs me that we as a nation export murder. I think that combined with our original sin of slavery and Indian destruction is kind of doing us in right now. And I thought so then. And a lot of this stuff, I listen to it now. I mean, at least what I write or wrote with Stephen too, and Demolition and some of those apocalyptic type. I mean, sheesh, holy shit. It's hard to feel, and not go crazy. So stuff like that comes out, and it's good for me. Yeah. So I think that's what that's about.
IB seems to be a lot about looking within, or at least that was the impression that I had. So it sounds like these last.
Well, there's too many sad faces of people whose lives are fucked up by other people, and violence and war, etc. That sounds so corny, though. My God,
it doesn't sound corny.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah, it's a
great
song.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The other thing that's true too is that was for me, and I would say Tim would agree. And although he kind of always did stuff that way, but to be there with somebody who really liked and was like super talented. Timmy's one of those guys who can play any. Mark Hanley's another who like walk into a room, somebody starts playing, you hand them an instrument, they don't know a damn thing, and it's going to be the right thing, like right there, right then. And so that was. Hang on a second, guys. Hey!
Did Sonny Boy perk up?
He's in another room. I don't know.
He's letting it go.
No, that's Wendy. There's two of them actually. Barney's the bigger mouth. What the hell are we talking about? So to be able to play, I mean, it was just like I never had that before. I mean, the studio is my favorite place in the world. So here I am with my favorite guys, and this person I trust, this loving environment, and we just went nuts. It was like, oh wow, you mean I can play this cool piano too? Oh my God, there's that organ. Let's do that. It was fantastic. Learned a lot.
It was a great experience. Just being set loose like that, and it wasn't because usually if you make a low budget record, it's like, well, we got a week, let's knock this out. This was more like, I don't think we ever discussed a time frame. We just started recording, and one day I think we looked around and went, oh, I guess we're done. Because we didn't. If we felt like leaving and going to some catfish house, we did that. If we felt like leaving and going to New Orleans, we did. There was no clock at all. It was just kind of we leave the studio and go to that neighborhood bar, CS's, and hang out, and then we'd crash and get up, eat gumbo, crash, get up, and start over the next day. And it was just you made use of whatever time you needed to. And the rest of the time, I don't know, it was the most relaxed thing ever. I think we finally got to a point where maybe we made a list of what we needed to be done, what we needed to do to finish. But
and then we finished it.
And we finished it. But for the most part, we never thought about finishing it. It was just something we were doing.
Well, yeah, I kind of went with the flow. So this was kind of the way Tim did stuff. And I mean, I brought what I had to the table, but this was, at least I thought, Jesus, this guy, this is what he does all the time, man. He's fucking waltzes into this place, and here's this guy, and you get all this stuff, and they do it. Sounds great, man. So we did pay them, though. That's right.
Yeah.
That's important. But it wasn't our money. Well, I suppose it is, although, I mean, that's record is sold like, 5 copies, so.
Oh, it sold 6.
Actually, those guys at Light Rail, where we recorded some of the Helene stuff, just randomly, those guys are like, they know it better than I do. It's crazy.
That's funny.
All right, track 4, Something Happened. Tim, this is your song, and the chorus is what I love. Something happened, now I can see in the dark. Someone coming for me.
Something happened. Now I can see
Can you talk to us about this song?
Well, I remember that one as just me having the chords and stuff, and we recorded it without any words. And if I remember correctly, one morning, I was up early, Matt was sleeping late, and I sat out on the front steps of my house and started just scribbling and came up. But I was reading this Joseph Heller book called Something Happened.
Oh,
And,
that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's where it kind of started from. And it was one of those things of like, we were going to go to the studio at noon or something, and I knew that song had to have words. So it was like the one pressure moment was like, well, if we're going to finish this song, it's got to have words. And so that's the way I remember that one.
Wow. That's cool. I like that insight.
I mean, and I, you know, I've never had to write songs under the gun, but I think I could probably do it because, you know, there's this thing when you're writing songs or making records or whatever, everybody has this internal thing called the give a shitter. And, you know, and everybody's give a shitter is set at a different level. And mine's set pretty low when it needs to be, you know? So I can totally just knock something out and not feel weird about it if it needs to be done, you know? And so I think that was one of those instances where I totally pulled, you know, because it had to be, you know, we had to have something to sing, or that must have been one of the later songs too, because we were run out of stuff we needed to do if I had to write the words really quick. So.
And then what about track 5, the last song on this side, Something Better? Was this kind of a later song as well?
Actually,
No, this is the. Oh, sorry, Timmy, but this is.
Go ahead.
This is the one. This is the song that launched the ship. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, it's a song that I had recorded like a weird version of with no drums, but it was all loud guitar and George Cartwright saxophone, and my friend Sherry Cawthorn and I wrote it. Sherry and I were in a band called Beat Temptation together, and she toured with the Windbreaker some, but she would just write notebooks of lyrics, and so I'm going to say that 99% of the lyrics on that are probably hers, so we just took the recording that already existed and we expounded upon that.
Okay.
As in, he let me play on his cool song.
Yeah, remember I played drums on it.
Oh, wow.
True. It's got the best line of the whole record on it. I count on nothing because nothing is the matter.
Yeah, that's a total Sherry Cawthorn line there.
Killer.
Yeah, that's great.
There's a few different lines in that song that I like. I look in the mirror, something dies.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's like Alex Chilton.
Yeah, it's very much a kind of kangaroo Holocaust kind of song, isn't it? I hadn't thought about that till just now, but yeah, it's a kind of a Big Star Third kind of song. But yeah, I really fond of that song, and I don't know what else to say.
Stephanie and I were driving down to Ensenada along the beach in her little Rabbit, one of the very, very first sort of date/vacations, and blasting that song. And I'm like, I'm just like, this is freaking. I don't know. That's when I heard that song. Because basically it was done. I mean, I played a little guitar. We did a few other things. But,
we added bass to it and stuff because the original version was just guitar.
Yeah, that's the bass with 46 things on it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah.
But George Cartwright's this amazing sax player who's from. He's originally from Bentonia, Mississippi, the catfish capital of the world, and right there in the center of the Delta. But at the time, he lived in New York, had a band called Curlew, and with John Zorn and all these people. And but he and I got to be buddies, and he was in Jackson visiting family or something, and we recorded that together. And then it just kind of went. Then, like I said, the version just existed as this two-piece thing, and then we took it and ran with it.
I mean, the sax is perfect.
Oh, it's unbelievable. He's so amazing. Yeah.
And Timmy sings the hell out of it as well. So I mean, you guys, you want to know how this happened? Listen to that song, and then And I got to play
backwards
feedback on it, which was fun, and a little bit of Gretchy whammy stuff, but it was already very cool.
So that wraps up the album. It only came out on vinyl and cassette and never been re-released, never been released digitally. It was just that one release. Restless put it out in '86. I did see that there was a release in Spain and Netherlands around the same time, but nothing since then. So if our listeners want to hear it, look for the vinyl, look for the cassette. Yeah. Or
I think we do have a cassette.
Yeah, or email me, Anna.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't give people stuff. I could care less. It's fine.
Yeah, same here.
But you guys should. I mean, I hope you are hip to Timmy's stuff because there's all sorts of cool stuff.
Oh yeah, Soraya and I have plans. Yep. We definitely want to have Tim back on.
Bark
if he'll
return.
return.
We played with Bark. It was so happy.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, we
Tim Lee 3, Bark. There's a few things that we would like to get into at some point.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a blast. What was it? Was that in August or September, Matt? That Bart came out your way, and we played a Bart Rain Parade show.
Right there.
That's back there because we were probably playing home in that picture. We did
As
home.
a matter of fact, we are because Derek's playing 12 string.
That's
and
right.
You're playing the Les Paul, and I'm playing the Gretsch. And
What's Stillman doing? Is he playing bass? No, Robes knows the bass on that. That was
Yeah, he's back. He's standing up on that
Or Guitar
platform.
Attack.
Yeah.
We did play it. Cool.
So,
It's a fun one.
any last stories on the Gone Fishing record before we say goodbye to you guys?
Yes. Well, if Stephanie listens to it, she'll hear the other thing. So. No, I just told them that we weren't a couple yet officially. Otherwise, it would look a lot better than it did. Because the album cover is so hideous. Somebody had it flipped where it was blue, and anyway, it's still ugly. I thought that was cool for some stupid reason.
Yeah,
because we didn't care. It's like
That's
all
true.
Southern. Hey, let's get all Flannery O'Connor and stuff, and go fishing in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's right.
Not a whole lot to do in Jackson.
Oh, so another great diversion during all that was the night at WC Don's that we opened for the Primatons. We just decided like that afternoon we were going to put together a band and play that night. So it was you and me and Bruce Golden and Bobby Sutliff.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Piucci, correct?
That was it. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Piucci. One time only.
Wow.
It was a great set list. We played a
okay.
couple of these songs, but we also played like Sign DC and Atlantis, I think. And,
We did do Atlantis. Outstanding.
yeah, it was hilarious.
I mean, the others of our time choose to remain blind. Sorry.
No
So cool.
rehearsal. It was hilarious.
Love that song.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you guys doing? Jeff, Soraya?
We're good.
Sweet. Jeff has more stuff on the wall and Soraya has more books.
This is how it plays out. Yeah, I'm playing catch up constantly to Jeff.
If I knew how to read, I'd have some books on my shelf too, but I don't know how to read. They're just record albums, so I can listen to those. I don't have to read anything.
So today is the A's against the Giants, which I'm going to go watch on tape. So it hasn't started yet, and I don't know what's the over/under on like them getting all the way through before they shut it down.
Oh wow!
I don't even want to know.
I mean, somebody asked me like, okay, what's the chance that both the NBA and Major League Baseball will have championships this year?
0.
30%.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, let's go to Florida. That's a great idea.
Yeah, somebody was really thinking
That
there, weren't
gives
they?
me a headache just thinking about
Anyway.
that. But Matt and Tim, you guys doing all right? Hanging in there with all this craziness, COVID craziness?
Yeah, doing all right.
We're great. So Tammy, I'm retiring soon. So then I'll be the guitar player in your band.
Cool.
All right.
That's
If we ever get to play in front of anybody.
if that ever gets to happen again. Yeah.
It will.
So, anyway.
I don't know. Even if we have to make it happen, Jeff. I don't know. Do we have enough money in the piggy bank for that? Bring Tim out.
We'll make it happen somehow.
We'll figure out a way. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
anything can be
all
figured
you
out.
have to do is get Tim and Susan out here. They got a place to stay.
Yeah.
We got gear.
Yeah.
We got a band. Now you need some place to play. Jackson would be a good place to do it. I don't know if Knoxville does, but I think playing outside is okay. People stay away from each other. You got to be really careful to stay away. But,
yeah, it's a weird thing.
anyway.
And Tim, before we let you go, we really want to have you back on and talk about your other projects besides Gone Fishing. Is that all right if we reach out and
Sure.
ask you to come back on and tell us more stories and we'll play more music?
I can run my mouth for any length of time.
And maybe for Bark we can get Susan in on it. Maybe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's way more entertaining than I am.
I have a feeling the two of you are going to be a lot of fun.
She just got sick of watching him go play music. She said, hey, shit, I want to play the bass. I'm sick of bass. I'm not to play drums.
It's pretty true.
Like it already.
Yeah.
But thank you both. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Tim, for coming on. This is an album that Jeff and I really enjoy, and we wanted to have you on and talk about it. So we're just really glad that we got a chance to do it.
Well, thank you.
Songs are good. It made me feel better than I usually think about it. So thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate you guys getting down with this stuff.
Thank you. And just
It's a great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You make old men happy.
Just so you know, we were telling Tim, in our research, we found a lot of people want this LP and can't get their hands on it. And it's not just 5 or 6 people. Trust me, it's more than that. So it's about finding it. That's the quest.
I suppose we should just press it, Timmy, and challenge them to do anything about it. It's been, why we could.
Yeah, it's probably out. Yeah, I don't remember the contract.
Years.
Yeah, it's been 800 years. Why not?
Nobody has any tapes. I don't have any. Randy didn't have anything. Well, Timmy and I will discuss this later.
We'll discuss this at a later date.
Keep us posted.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
He'll probably have to make it off of a needle drop because,
It wouldn't be the first time.
No, it would not.
But thank you once again. You guys stay well, stay healthy. Keep playing music. Give us more music. We're done.
Please.
Okay.
Me and Robes just finished the song yesterday, so there.
Sweet.
Love you guys, man. You guys take care.
All right, Matt. Thanks so much.
All right, bye. See you, Timmy.
Thank y'all so much. Thanks, Matt.
All right.
Great to see you,
Bye-bye.
man.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, Soraya.
Dang! Jeff!
That I knew there would be some great stories
Okay,
coming from these.
First of all, we just got to say, one, the album is really good. I mean, it's different. Do not expect, if you walk into it expecting like to just kind of say, oh, I can already guess the vibe on this album. No, just toss it out the window. But what I love, and to hear Matt Piucci said, I was feeling kind of Southern and figured I'd take a stab at a country song. That is what I'm talking about. This album just does different things.
Yeah, it really does.
Bluesy vibe. You get those psych guitars. You get Tim just kicking ass on that guitar.
Yeah.
Plus you get some really cool guests on this.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, I loved how Tim described it as, you know, we kind of just let ourselves go and say, oh, okay, you know, if we didn't want to be in the studio that day, we weren't, and when we did, we were, and we just started playing, and like something happened where he said, I had the chords before I had the song. You know, how many times have we heard that from different people? It's like, I had the song in my head and the words came later.
Yeah.
He's just so, Tim Lee is really, really cool.
Yeah, and super talented. That guy is ultra talented.
And
when I was thinking about the way that they made this record, as they told us what I knew nothing about, except what little we heard about from Matt before, but the vibe that I get from it just sounds so relaxed and so chill. I can't imagine a better environment for the creative juices to flow for a musician. And learning that about this album, it makes sense to me in hearing the vibe of the record. I don't think that same vibe you would probably get recording in downtown Los Angeles.
oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you have you know, as Tim started telling these stories about, and we went to New Orleans and the car busted a radiator, you know, the minute we parked it, and the Crosby, Stills, Nash, Piucci, you know, there's got to be a recording. But, you know, I thought it was interesting, you know, you like to talk a lot about song sequencing.
Yeah.
And how Tim was saying that when he heard from a friend of his that said, oh, the sequencing is all off. And then, you know, as, you know, I made the mistake, it was something better. You know, like Matt had talked about how something better, he had heard it, said, I want to play on this. And that was the catalyst for the project. But then as Tim was talking about side B, I was like really enraptured in the story. And then I was seriously trying to figure out, like, it was that momentary lapse where I'm like, okay, so then something better. Where in the sequencing is that? Well, of course, it was the first thing. And I loved how, I have no idea, I should ask that, if that was intentional to end with what was the catalyst for the whole thing. But,
it's interesting.
But, it's just cool. And I think really what I was thinking about was, I like these last two tracks where it was something happened and then something better.
Yeah.
I like that I like that placement. And I think that's where I got lost, and and that's when Matt said, no, that was the catalyst.
Yeah.
For that. But songs like Home, Charlie Jones is a song that it grows on you, and it's because of the content, and I love that Tim said he wrote the last line.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't that great?
I was like, what?
That was great. Yeah.
And the one line from Take a Left that we didn't talk about, but that I like is, take a left at the light, I don't feel like talking. And it's one of those things where as the song is playing, you can hear that, that conversation going on, like you could.
Yeah.
It was that line, take a left at the light, I don't feel like talking. Where you go, oh, I can totally picture what that felt like, looked like, that type of conversation. I think that's why I like this album a lot. There's a lot of honesty in it.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. What did Tim say? He was very earnest as a young man. Yeah. And now he's a cynical.
And now he's a cynical man.
Isn't that great?
And I loved what he said about, everyone's give a shitter. Is that
yeah.
And you think about that, I think that's what makes this album so fun to listen to. I mean, I don't know if that's really the best word to describe it, but it's because I hear two guys enjoying what they're doing.
Yep,
and
that totally comes through.
Other people, like, oh, I brought in Andy because I didn't want to reach out. Okay, here, do this. Okay. And like, when Matt was talking about bringing in all these other instruments and elements and sounds, and I love that about this album. And I think that's why I keep going back to that quote of, this is when the Paisley Underground tried to save rock and roll and the entire world. And you go, they gave us something that was really innovative and different.
Yep.
And didn't match what perhaps the market was looking for at the time. I don't know. It's just, I think this is such a different album, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. It's a great record. And it sounded to me like there may be some discussions. Did you kind of get that vibe, Soraya? That maybe.
I can only say what I took from it. And what I took from it was, those tapes are somewhere. But here's what I think. If they even have a passing thought to give this even a limited release in some way, shape, or form, be it digital or be it like a CD or something, this is gonna sell. Because this is an album that people like and want. And can you imagine, how many years have passed? And you could kind of,
34 years.
34 years?
Is that right?
Still,
yeah.
It stands. Like, it's not one of those albums where you listen to it and you go,
Yeah. That's a very, very good point that you make. This is definitely an album that stands the test of time for me. It does not sound dated at all to me. It sounds like it's just as good today as it was then.
Right?
In fact, I think I like it better now than I've ever liked it. I bought it when it first came out.
Right.
Just because of the connection. I loved Windbreakers. I loved Rain Parade. And the two of these guys together, that was a no-brainer for me.
And I think we have to mention that. So the projects that Tim Lee has been involved with, Windbreakers, then we have Bark, him and Susan Lee, and then we have Tim Lee 3. I mean, we have other projects, and Matt is not wrong when he says, I hope you're digging into his other stuff. Yes, but also, I can't wait to talk to Tim more about these projects, and Susan. And then when Matt said, "Oh, Susan probably just got tired." What? Drums? Okay, I'll play drums. I'm like, is that really how it goes? Because their music is really good, and it sounds, I don't know, it's a good vibe, good sound, good tracks.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm wondering what else is behind that story. Matt gave us a little nugget.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
But
yes,
I mean, I'm sure a lot of the people who listen to our podcast are familiar with Tim Lee and his work, but if you're not, you need to become really informed about his other projects because they're fantastic. I mean, we talked about Matt Piucci's other projects, the Helene's, and as well as Rain Parade, and plus all the other stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
But
Boat Club.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Boat Club, ridiculously good. We've talked about it before, but always worth repeating. And Jeff, one last thing. Did you catch that passing mention by Matt Piucci that him and Stephen Robeck
wrote a new song today? Yes. Robes. Him and Robes.
Robes. That's what I want to start referring to people like Robes. You're going to be friends now.
I love Steve, but I don't know if I'm close enough to call him Robes. So we'll leave that for Matt.
We'll leave that to Matt Piucci. But mi gente a groovear.
Groove on, Paisley people. Don't dive into a reservoir unless you know what's in there.
And know what your give-a-shitter is.
I'm paying attention. I have to pay somebody some money here, but that's okay.
It's about time you caught up with me.
Yeah, right. It's funny. I haven't gotten one in a bit, but I had a ticket, I think, in Mississippi somewhere, and they periodically send them to me from like 1984 or whenever the fuck it was.
Yeah, after our European trip, I think I got 7 tickets from Italy that came over the next 8 months, little by little.
Yeah, that's if you travel on the East Coast now, like all the toll roads, they just send you a bill when you get home.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's weird. You come home and all of a sudden you owe $37 to somebody.
Well, it was probably 20 then, and it's gotten up to 75, and I continue to ignore them.
You're such an outlaw.
I know. Okay, but I'm paying this person, and now I'm done. Okay, sorry.
Tim, are you good with visuals?
Yeah, I think I can see everybody now.
I can't see Timmy. That bums me out.
That's so weird.
So there might be a thing that says stop video at the bottom left.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't have. I don't. So I can either make everybody go away or make everybody line up along the bottom.
But you can't show yourself.
Sure, dude. Oh, there's only one non-video participant that tells me, and we know who that is.
I mean, I can grab Susan and see if she can figure it out. She's good at this stuff, and I'm not.
Okay. Hey, can you turn him on? Because on my thing it says his video's off. Can Jeffrey turn him on?
That's what I was thinking, but when I try to click on the video off,
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't let me.
All right.
Yeah.
How weird.
All right.
You got the techno peasant here. Yeah.
Techno peasant.
know where I'm going, don't know where I've been. This life I lead, it ain't worth living. Crying underwater, the telephone, 100,000 miles, I'm still not home. I've been chewed up, I've been spit out. Nobody knows what they're talking about. I don't care what you say, don't care what they do. I'll wait 100 years, and I will see you home. Water!